instead of saving Kahndaq, Harut chose to save me.
If you caught our last video, you already know we talked about how Black Adam vs. Superman Dawn of Justice 2 could actually happen. But this time, we're shifting gears to break down who would win in an all-out DCU brawl between Black Adam and Superman. Plus, how the Justice League might have to step in before they tear half the planet apart, just because they couldn't figure out a way to play Uno together. And of course, we'll also be diving into the latest updates on Elseworlds, which is still very much alive and just waiting for James Gunn to have his moment before the big guns step in. So, let's get into it. Before we jump into the big question of who would win, let's take a step back and talk about how Black Adam set up this clash in the first place. That mid-credit scene brought back Henry Cavill's Superman, teasing an epic showdown between two of DC's most powerful characters. Unfortunately, that fight never happened, but we can still look to the comics for clues on how it might have played out. In the comics, Black Adam and Superman have gone head-to-head multiple times, but it's never a clear-cut fight. They both have insane strength, speed, and abilities, but they also have weaknesses. While a battle between them may never happen in James Gunn's new DCU, there's enough evidence to at least guess whether Black Adam could take down the Man of Steel. First, let's break down where their powers come from. Black Adam's abilities come from ancient Egyptian gods, gifted to him by the wizard Shazam. By saying the magic word Shazam, he transforms into a being with godlike stamina, strength, speed, wisdom, and magic-based power. Each of his abilities come from a different god, like Shu for endurance, Amun for strength, and Aten for magical energy. His strength is often compared to Superman's, if not greater in some instances. Unlike Superman, Black Adam doesn't hold back, using his full power with little regard for the consequences. But he's not invincible. His weaknesses include Eternium, a rare metal introduced in the Black Adam movie, and the fact that saying Shazam turns him back into his human form. Superman, on the other hand, gets his powers from Earth's yellow sun. He has super strength, speed, flight, heat vision, and invulnerability, along with other insane abilities like freeze breath and X-ray vision. His biggest weaknesses? Kryptonite and magic. And while magic doesn't instantly take him down, it does bypass his natural invulnerability, making Black Adam a serious threat. Plus, Superman holds back in fights, always trying to avoid unnecessary casualties. That restraint could cost him against a no-holds-barred opponent like Black Adam. So who would win in an all-out brawl? On paper, they seem evenly matched, but Black Adam's magic gives him an edge over Superman's defenses. Plus, while Superman fights to stop Black Adam would be fighting to win, no matter what it takes. That difference in approach could tilt the odds in his favor. But if Superman ever decided to stop holding back and unleash his full power, it could be a whole different story. Sadly, we'll likely never see this fight play out in live action. The DCEU's collapse and Black Adam's box office struggles mean Dwayne Johnson's version of the character is unlikely to return, while Superman is being rebooted with David Corenswet in 2025. Gunn's DCU is moving in a different direction, and if Black Adam does come back, he's more likely to fight Shazam than Superman. That said, there's always a chance. If the Snyderverse somehow finds a way back, or if Black Adam keeps building an audience on streaming, maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get to see the battle fans have been waiting for. Until then, we can only speculate. Would Black Adam's magic be enough, or would Superman finally cut loose and prove once and for all why he's the strongest hero in the DC universe? Since DC Studios is keeping the Elseworlds concept alive, there's always a chance we could still see a Black Adam vs. Superman movie with Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill down the line. Once the DC Universe moves past its Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters phase, the studio could revisit the old DCEU as a standalone Elseworlds project, something that wouldn't have to reconnect to the main timeline. By then, DC will have had more experience with Elseworld stories, giving them a better idea of how to approach a showdown between these two powerhouses. Of course, whether Cavill and Johnson would even be interested in returning is another question. Both actors have moved on to other projects, but if the right pitch comes along, there's always a chance they'd be willing to step back into their roles for one epic battle. For now, though, fans will just have to wait and see if a proper Black Adam follow-up ever becomes a reality. On the flip side, Black Adam is one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe, which naturally has fans wondering if James Gunn will bring him into the new DCEU. However, if Black Adam does return, it likely won't be in the same form as his 2022 movie. Given how closely tied that version was to the DCEU and Johnson's ambitious plans for the franchise, it seems unlikely that The Rock will reprise the role in Gunn's rebooted universe. That said, Black Adam's story isn't necessarily over. While Gunn may want to let some time pass before reintroducing the character, there's always room for a fresh take with a new actor. One day, we could even see Black Adam go toe-to-toe with David Corenswit's Superman once Chapter 1 of the DCU is complete. So while the Black Adam movie didn't pan out as planned, fans shouldn't lose hope. There's still a chance the character could make a comeback in Gunn's vision for the DCU. If James Gunn were to craft a Black Adam vs. Superman movie in the DCU, there are several comics he could draw inspiration from. One standout choice would be Superman and Shazam: Black Adam, which explores the complex dynamic between these three powerhouses. Another strong contender is DC Comics Presents Volume 1, Number 49, written by Roy Thomas and Paul Kupperberg, with art by Rich Buckler, John Calnan, Gene D'Angelo, and John Costanza. This issue delivers an intense battle where Black Adam travels from Earth S to Earth 1, setting his sights on conquering the world. Superman and Shazam must team up to stop him, making for one of their earliest and most memorable showdowns. If Gunn ever decides to pit Black Adam against Superman in the DCU, this comic's multiversal chaos and high-stakes action could serve as a blueprint. If Gunn wanted to introduce an earth-shattering conflict where half the planet is left deserted, elements from this storyline could be adapted. Imagine a scenario where Black Adam's unrelenting power collides with Superman's unyielding will, leaving entire cities in ruins as they battle for dominance. It would be a grim, intense take on their rivalry, one that could push both characters to their limits. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.